Welcome back to the Course Creation Incubator. I'm Gina Onativia, your digital course consultant and coach, here to get you fired up about your course creation and marketing. I mentioned last episode that I got to get away for a few weeks. And when I go away, even if it's for 2 days or 2 weeks, I give myself an outcome. What do I want to get out of this for my family, my relationships, me personally? Yes, that favorite question follows me everywhere. What's my outcome? It's not just for business, kids. For vacation, my outcome was to 1, reconnect with my husband and my son, 2, reconnect with my in-laws and family, and 3, in the quiet times, think about what's on my plate. What's my routine? How could I really serve myself better and support my team better and my family? Now, I've talked about the importance of great habits on this podcast before, and I love talking to new course creators who stop me and say, yes, Gina, I know you're a fan of Atomic Habits. Surprise, surprise. I love Atomic Habits so much, the book by James Clear, because I'm working on becoming the best version of me. Sometimes it's a climb, but I'm working on it. I want the best version of you, and there's so much goodness in there to help that cause. Then my Tony Robbins bestie, Amy Porterfield, puts out a new guide about habits. Create more freedom and live your best life. 6 daily habits to swear by. Then Becky, my online business manager, asks me, why don't I do something on habits? And I'm thinking, okay, all these things are coming together. I've got to do a podcast. So I thought I would use Amy's freebie as a starting point, and I'll link to that in the show notes, by the way, so you can download it, to talk through the must habits that I've seen that I do myself. Then you can get a mix of what Amy does, what I do to create success in your day-to-day. I also realized on vacation that sometimes I have habits I don't even know I have. Can you relate? For example, my husband Alex and I split a lot of our food and our drink. We'll split ice cream, a bag of chips, whatever we're consuming at that moment. We don't even realize we're doing it. Then we're at this great brewery in Ossining, and we're ordering a flight of beers, and I asked Alex if we wanted to split the flight of beers. And my brother Joe goes, "Let the man get his own beers already." So just like me, Joe says what's on his mind. It's the New York environment we were raised. By the way, Joe is the best big brother a girl could have, so I tease lovingly. But Joe has a point here too. This might be a bad habit. Alex and I ended up looking at each other and thinking, okay, should we start ordering our own stuff? We did order our own flights. We consciously tried not to split everything. And then you know what? You know what we realized after that? We waste a lot of food and drink when we don't split it. Like bottles of ginger ale that went to waste, or we got our own ice creams and we didn't finish them. I didn't finish that flight of beer. I finished maybe half of it. So there's a purpose behind this habit. Sometimes though, you need to test that theory to make sure it makes sense. Now, that's a silly life example, but if you think about it, there may be some course creation habits you do because you've always done them. And do they really make sense? Maybe you've got to test it out, like Alex and I did, to make sure that they do make sense. There's a reason behind them. All right, one final thought before I dive into the meat of this episode. I know you know why you need good habits, but just to bring this home, and of course, quote from Atomic Habits, achieving a goal only changes your life for the moment. What we really need to change are the systems that cause those results. If you think about it, completing your course is your goal. Now, it's a great freaking goal. No one can contest that. But to create a course-based business for the long term, you want to put those systems or habits in place that will really serve you. So let's focus on those systems. Habit number 1, visualizing success. This is a new one for me. I'm working with my business coach on this one, I have to admit. I was talking to my mentor and client, Bo Eason, about a launch. This was a few months ago, and the numbers that I was looking for. And Bo says to me, Gina, you get what you ask for. And I knew exactly what Bo was telling me. He was saying, if you put out into the universe what you want and focus on that, the universe will bring it to you. Now, I take that to heart when I'm working on a new promotion for myself or for my clients. I'm visualizing the successful end, the celebration. Then I think, what will this mean for my family if I reach this goal? What would it mean for my team? How would it feel for myself? And I also always working on visualizing what my students and clients really need. What questions are they asking? Where do they need to go? And how can I serve them? Like, what's the best way to get them there? Now, like I mentioned, I'm definitely learning to do this more. Before, I felt like I couldn't say a number or a metric because it was bad luck, or because I felt like I was being, greedy. I mean, I really had to work on that limiting belief. Here I am pushing clients and students to say a number, and I can't do it myself. I mean, come on. So now I say it. I tell my team, I have it on the whiteboard. I talk to my coach and I talk to my sounding board. There's no more holding back. I visualize that success. I want the same for you. Which brings us to habit number 2, setting the winning routines. Notice how I say routines plural. My friend and done for you client, high performance coach J.R. Reed, has multiple routines. In fact, he has 8. So here's just a list of something he has inside of his course championship families. 1, wake up. 2, getting kids ready for school. 3, getting into the office. 4, lunch. 5, leaving the office. 6, getting dinner ready for the family. 7, family time. 8, shutting down my day, preparing for the next day. Now, this isn't just a list. This is the different routines that JR plans for throughout his day. Now, 8 may be a lot or too many to build on, but what I like about what JR has done here in terms of routines is he's broken up his day into different blocks of focused time. Now, chances are, if you're listening to this, you have some solid routines in place. You are a freaking achiever. You get shit done. What I want you to do, or what I want you to think about, is consider a routine or block of time that isn't serving you right now. Maybe because of a change in schedule, maybe the kids are back in school, or something shifted at work, or for your hubbies or your wife's work, whatever the reason. For me, on vacation, I thought a lot about my afternoon time. That's when my energy dips. I have low output. I feel like a sloth, okay? Let's just put it out there. So in the last few weeks, I focused on my afternoon time as my recovery time. Every day at around 3:34, I walk away from my computer. I go get my energy greens, and I love this amazing grass greens blend energy that I've been taking now for about 5+ years. I'll link to it in the show notes. It is my reset ritual. So I take my greens, I play with my son Tristan, we kick the ball around, and we usually put some tennis on the TV. Then we make dinner and we have family time, or Tristan might have practice late in the afternoon. Then it hits 7 o'clock, and this is my go time to get a little bit of work in. And now I'm refreshed. I just had dinner. I've moved my body. I'm ready to sit down for 45 minutes of focused time and really get stuff done. I get some of my best work done in my final sprint at the end of the day. Maybe it's the pressure of the timing, or I've given myself a chance to recover. Whatever it is, it's focused work. All right, so let's bring this back to you. What's a block of time that you know you need to maximize more? Is it your morning, lunchtime, nighttime, maybe planning as you head into the day? By the way, I know I need to work on my morning routine. I need to figure out how to get a consistent workout in there. I saw my brother and my sister-in-law get up consistently, get on the Peloton, work out, and feel great. And I thought to myself, I would love a little piece of that. But that's a podcast for another day while I work to get that dialed in. Now, this is good timing in many ways for this episode because I had a lopsided day yesterday. I don't believe in bad days. I believe in days that don't go as you intended. And when things don't go as I intended, I look at my habits. Am I being intentional as I start my day? Amy has some great ideas about how to start your morning the right way in that freebie, by the way, so make sure to check it out. Let's move on to our third habit, journaling with purpose. I'm all about noticing patterns of my own behavior. That goes back to my Tony Robbins days. By journaling, I can see, where am I stuck? What patterns have I been repeating over and over? Now, I say journaling with purpose because I used to just journal how I was feeling, and that didn't really stick for me. I didn't want to continue doing it. Then my business coach started giving me prompts to work on. Questions like, what do I really want to get out of the business? What do I need to work on for myself to get there? Where does my head go when I feel like I'm losing momentum? How does it feel when burnout creeps in for me? Now, some of these might be good for you, or think about creating your own. What happens when you start to fall off on your course creation? What are some of the mindset blocks that stop you? Now, Amy has some great prompts in that freebie, by the way, to help you blast your limiting beliefs before you even start your day. All right, one final habit, and Amy has one that I would love to end with, making your health a priority. I didn't do this when I first started out. I pushed myself to exhaustion when I first started as an entrepreneur, as a course coach. After every single launch, I got sick. I would push, and then I couldn't celebrate because I got stuck in bed. Now, in the last year, I've really changed my habits on this because I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And by the way, I recently talked about burnout with my friend Prerna Malik and self-care, so important as entrepreneurs because many of you listening play multiple roles. You may have a full or part-time job, you may be a consultant or a coach, and you're looking to launch a course. And you may be pushing yourself because you know what an online course can really bring you. Prerna's got it right when it comes to self-care. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, I'll link to it in the show notes. And if you want to talk about best-selling course creators, Prerna's up there. So if she has winning habits, I definitely want to listen in and learn from her. Now, nothing is more important than your health. I know you know this. Without your health and vitality, you don't have a course, you don't have a business. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of your students, let alone your family, friends, those around you closest to you. So there's non-negotiables that I do to take care of my own health. I drink a ton of water. I already mentioned my greens that I take every day. I walk with my husband, Alex. I'm back to doing my running. I have my sleep tracker on my iPhone to make sure I'm getting my 8 hours of sleep. So what are your non-negotiables around health, and how will you build consistent habits around those? And if you feel like you need help with those health habits, who can you enlist? I talked about hiring Coach Bobby Bluford in a past podcast to help me lose weight, teach me how to fast properly, how to eat the right foods. I'll link to that podcast in the show notes also. So you might need someone to coach you either one-on-one or via an app or a subscription. I love the Nike app for running. Coach Bennett is my virtual coach. So think about that. Who do you need to support that health habit? Well, there you are. Just 4 habits of every successful course creator I know, and a little glimpse into the habits that I do on a day-to-day basis. Here's the secret. Course creators don't have best-selling programs because they're running around ragged, pulling their hair out. They're successful more than likely because they have their shit together in multiple areas. They're not perfect, but they likely have these 4 habits in check. They've 1, visualized their success, 2, have solid routines or multiple routines, 3, journal their success and use prompts, and 4, they make their health a priority and not an afterthought. If you want more on building great habits, pick up Amy's new freebie in the show notes. Amy has some amazing questions and a tracker to help you stay more consistent. All right, I'm going to go split a brownie with Alex. I'm just kidding. I'll see you next week, my course creators. Please rate and review this episode, especially if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, and subscribe. Until next week, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.